All right, recording. All right, Boyd. So we're going to come into talk segment number three. All right, Boyd, here we go. Three, two, one. It's your brunch show, the Sunday Morning Mimosa. Here comes the sun, the Beatles. And joining us from the Indigo Road Hospitality Group, Steve Palmer. And man, we were talking before we hit the airwaves. It seems like you're busier now than before the restaurants closed.
Managing this crisis, trying to be have a voice in the legislation that's being written. I'm a member of a newly formed coalition called the Independent Restaurant Coalition. If you've seen any of my social about saverestaurants.co, it's a group of about 70. It's Tom Colicchio, it's Will Guidera, it's Bobby Stuckey. It's a broad range of the who's who. Jose Andreas is a member. So we have a daily call where we've hired political lobbyists. We're trying to make sure that any sort of aid, the PPP as it's written today, really doesn't work for us.
I was going to say, and I don't mean to interrupt, but it seems like, and no harm, no foul to Danny, with Shake Shack and some of the others. But how in the hell do they even get in again, I am ignorant when it comes to this kind of stuff. But why would they get money for small business where they're publicly traded? And they all do the right thing. They gave the money back, but I feel like they gave the money back because they had people breathing down their necks.
Danny's a friend of mine. I haven't talked to him about what the thinking was. I know this. Never did he contemplate that there wouldn't be enough money for the small mom and pops, because that's not Danny. I don't know all the intricacies. I'll tell you, Lawson, the fundamental challenges for us on the PPP are a couple of things. You have to hire 100% of the staff back. Well, we're being told when we reopen, we're only going to be allowed to seat 50% of our tables. So we don't need 100% of our staff. So the emotional side of, okay, they just went through hell to get laid off, getting unemployment. I would say that probably still only 60% of our employees are on unemployment. So to then bring them back just to lay half of them off again, it's terrible. You couple that with right, wrong, or indifferent, that additional $600 a week. Some of our employees are making more on unemployment than they were working. So some of them have even reached out and said, hey, would you mind not hiring me back? Well, that's where the flaw in the PPP comes. If I don't hire them all back, the loan is not forgiven. So there's that angle. Then there's the June 30th. You have to have spent all the money by June 30th. Well, a lot of the restaurants, less so I think in the South, but a lot of the restaurants in New York, Chicago, they don't think they're going to be open until August. And believe me, I'm not in a hurry to open to 50% capacity. I don't, I think most business owners, if you said, okay, you're going to do 50% of your sales, that presumes your 50% capacity is at full demand, which we don't know if people are even going to feel safe coming out. So most business owners would say, no, I can't make it on 50% of my sales. I know the restaurant business, we certainly can't. So there, unfortunately, there's no good answers for us right now. We want to reopen. We want to be safe. Obviously, we don't want to get anybody sick.
What is the new norm? And we're going to talk about that. But first, it's always about the cool music. And as you guys know, it's all quarantining type songs. So here are the Bee Gees with Staying Alive, y'all. It's the Sunday Morning Mimosa. All right.
I love that. I love that.
I've got all kinds of crazy music on this thing. I Will Survive, Faith by George Michael, I'm Still Standing by Elton John. Dude, it's all kind of shit. All right. So, Boyd, here we go. Talk segment number 4, coming out of Faith by George Michael. In 3, 2, 1. It's your brunch show, the Sunday Morning Mimosa, George Michael with Faith. And as you know, it's all quarantine songs, so we're keeping it ironically festive, I guess, with Steve Palmer, partner from the Indigo Road Hospitality Group. And we were talking before the music break, as restaurant owners and operators, for employees and guests, we're having to experience and write this book. It's a whole new norm for you guys. But what the heck is that norm?
Nobody knows, Lawson. You know, well, let me ask you this from a consumer point of view. So you go to a restaurant, let's pretend for a minute that in June 1st, you decide, I'm going to go out to dinner. Your server comes up in rubber gloves and a mask with a disposable menu. You got your temperature taken at the door. These are all real regulations that are coming. You sit down. What kind of dining experience is that when you feel like you're at a doctor's office? And so our concern is even our most loyal customers come and it just feels weird to them. It doesn't feel
It's
like
not a warm, inviting
right.
conceptuality.
It doesn't feel hospitable, right?
You
And
go to
so
a steakhouse for a beautiful steak dinner, you know,
right.
candlelit, dim lights, beautiful
Yeah.
wine, and then you have this sort of cold feeling that
Right.
you know, and then someone hypothetically sneezes 8 feet away from you at another
Right.
table, and all fucking hell is breaking loose. It's like,
Right.
oh man.
Or you know, like in the neighborhood at Oak specifically,
Yeah.
all the neighborhood loves to come sit at the bar and have a burger, you can't sit at the bar now. In this new scenario, there is no bar seating.
Really?
So no bar seating at all. So you literally can sit at a table 6 feet away from another table, get waited on by someone that looks like a surgical attendant. And I really believe that even our most loyal customers are going to say, Steve, we love you. We'll keep ordering to go, which we know is not a sustainable business model for us, but we'll keep doing the to go, and we'll come back when it feels a little bit more like normal. And you know, so Lawson, so what do you do? I keep saying, like, I'm not in a hurry to reopen because my employees presumably are on unemployment or safe. We know at the Indigo Road, because we started an employee relief fund. We know that we don't have anybody in distress. Like, I can't feed my family, I'm getting evicted, because we've said, if you are in distress, we will pay your bills. So we haven't gotten that phone call. So right now, basically, other than we're all stir crazy, everybody's safe, they're well taken care of. So why would you open to 50% revenue? What's the motivation other than I have bills, landlord bills, or I have other obligations that I'm being forced to reopen? Because this is what I've said over and over again. We're in all the media, right? We're talking about thousands of restaurants may never reopen again. Here's my fear: it's the second wave where restaurants try to reopen. They don't have the capital to carry them for 6 months while they're losing money. I think you're going to see thousands more restaurants in this in-between time, this partial open time. I think you're going to see thousands of restaurants go out of business.
Wow,
that's heartbreaking.
I mean, it's sort of, you don't open a restaurant unless you're an optimistic person, right? I mean, you sure as hell don't open 20 restaurants. I'm delusionally optimistic. But
really what you do. Okay.
Well, thank you. But, and so we just don't know. We don't know what the new normal is. We know what we think it's going to be. What we have no idea is what the response to medical dining is going to look like. Right. We have no idea.
I mean, maybe there's a way that, ironically, talk to some designer, and this sounds crazy, but, create logoed masks.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Zach Posen did the uniforms for Delta. Maybe he'll do, maybe he'll do, maybe there'll be designer masks. I don't know.
Oh, man. We're going to take more music right this very second. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a project that Steve came up with a few colleagues called Ben's Friends. And it is so super important,
right,
especially for hospitality people in this very, very interesting and delicate crisis scenario. But right now, it's all about the cool music right here on your brunch show. It's the Sunday Morning Mimosa. All right, so Boyd, we're coming out of I'm Still Standing by Elton John. And this is talk segment number 5. In 3, 2, 1. It's your brunch show, the Sunday Morning Mimosa. Elton John, I'm still standing. And, you know, well, that depends on how much wine I may have consumed the happy hour. In theory, it works out well. But speaking of, there is a great need for people that need support or are looking for support, don't have anywhere to really find it, especially in the hospitality industry. Having come from such a perspective of, you know, you think you, back in the old school days, you know, you were in the kitchen and all you do afterwards is people bring in cases of beer and you share the beers. Or in my case, back in the old days, I'm aging myself, around 1999. Frank Lee, you love this story, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
I would trade him at Indigo Lounge, which is right behind North of Broad at the time. I would trade him a sleeve of Jack Daniels for dinner that night. And so
Nice.
he would start handing mini bottles out to his staff, and it worked out really well for all involved. But, you know, the new norm, and this is not just talking about the crisis that we're in, the pandemic, but the new norm is you don't have to drink to be in the hospitality industry, but people don't know exactly how to take that, who to talk to, realizing that there may be issues, and a lot of people feel like they're too proud to go to AA and this sort of thing. So you created something called Ben's Friends with Mickey Baxt over at Charleston Grill and Charleston Place Hotel, the Belmont. Tell us a little bit about what made you think about creating such a very unique and useful tool, and B, how it's expanding across the country.
Sure. Well, thank you for that, Lawson. You know, I was the product of an intervention in 2001 when I was running Peninsula Grill. I was lucky enough that the owner, Hank Holliday, cared enough about me to basically say, you can either clean out your office or you can go to rehab. And luckily, I chose rehab. You know, but I'll tell you, for a lot of years, this was 2001. I've been sober a little over 18 years. It's pretty lonely in the restaurant business to be sober. You know, I mean, we're a decades old industry of tradition of work hard, party hard. And I had always sort of had this desire to give back. Mickey moved to Charleston when I was about 4 years sober. And he, of course, is a sober person. And, you know, we had sort of said, oh, we're too busy, we're this, we're that. One of our chefs, Ben Murray, who was a friend, a 20-year friend of mine, was helping us open a restaurant. I had lost touch with Ben. And so he came back to the fold and he said, I've cleaned my act up. And, you know, in our business, that could be a pretty wide range of things. So I didn't ask a lot of questions. I never saw Ben take a drink. And sadly, Ben committed suicide and in his hotel room where we had put him up. And, you know, the real sad thing for me was twofold. When I made the call to his 80-year-old mother, which obviously I'll never forget, she shared with me that he had been in and out of detox 6 times, and I had no idea. So here we had this guy who was suffering in silence. You would have never attached the words depressed to Ben. But secondly, on opening night in this restaurant, there were 4 sober people, 4 sober chefs that would have done anything to help Ben if he would have just said, hey, I'm struggling. And so I was so struck with, what is it about our culture, the restaurant culture, that we don't feel like we can ask for help, that the norm is party hard every night, you know, it's not okay to not be okay. So we started Ben's Friends here locally in 2016, a weekly support group for people. It's run by people that are sober in the business, and it's for people that are seeking sobriety in the business. And, you know, so we started it, we opened in Atlanta and Raleigh, and things kind of stayed there. Then when Anthony Bourdain committed suicide, it was literally an overnight. Suddenly the press, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, everybody started asking me, well, what's this Ben's Friends? And they would write an article, and then a chef in Portland, Oregon, who was sober, would reach out and say, I want to start a Ben's Friends. So we're now in 14 cities. We have 6 more lined up as soon as we're able to get together again. And what's been incredible through this, Lawson, is immediately when the COVID hit, we did a Zoom meeting with all of our leaders. And we said, you know, we know isolation is the enemy of addiction, right? At the end of most people's drinking, they were doing it alone. Getting sober is something you do with a group of people. You don't do it alone. So we immediately saw a need. And so we have a daily Zoom call at 1 o'clock, 7 days a week. It's led by a different chair from a different city. So yesterday, the Seattle chair led the meeting. And there are 40 to 45 people on this call every single day. What's even more inspiring is people are finding the meeting who have never actually physically been to a Ben's Friends meeting. People in Healdsburg, California, Chicago, New Orleans. And even more inspiring is people are getting sober in the middle of this crisis. So we have people on the call with 1 day sober, 5 days sober, 3 weeks sober. And I got to tell you, if I had still been drinking during this, I would be absolutely blown out of my skull. The last thing I would be thinking about right now is how can I make a healthy decision for myself? And it's truly inspiring. So Ben's Friends it's much bigger than Mickey and I. It's a movement now. Our goal is 50 states. We want to be in every city where there's restaurant people, that need help. And listen, I have been very blessed with success in business with the Indigo Road. There's nothing more rewarding to me than watching people not only get sober, but start to change this myth that you have to drink and be in our business. You don't have to drink. And I say this all the time, alcohol is not bad. It's bad for me because I have the disease of addiction, and it's a disease. And it's a disease that tells you don't have a disease. You know, it's cancer patients aren't walking around saying, I don't have cancer, but alcoholics are walking around saying, I don't have a problem all the time. And so truly the work of Ben's Friends has become one of my life's great purposes.
That's amazing. We've done a wonderful thing. It really is amazing.
Yeah, it's
really
fantastic. Just incredible. Steve, I know you've got a lot on your plate with over 20 restaurants that you are having to do, but briefly, you guys did make the decision, which I think is incredibly intelligent on you and your investors' parts, when the Atlanta or the Georgia governor said, sure, let's go ahead and open everything. To me, I went, first of all, what is this guy smoking? Second of all, how do you do that when you don't know what that norm is? And like you were saying, you guys are starting to maybe figure it out, but for the safety of guests and employees alike, you made the very, very, very intelligent decision, in my opinion, to simply keep with curbside. Your messaging was incredible. Just, being upfront and saying, listen, we're not ready for this. We would like to open as much as everyone else would like to be able to get out and go about again, but we're not doing it. That had to be a difficult decision.
Absolutely. I mean, it was difficult, but at the same time, it was pretty easy. I mean, I think June 1st is a good date, as a lot of my peers do, to start even thinking about what that looks like. Trust me, I owe banks money. I have all kinds of financial obligations. I want to get open. I care about our employees. I care about keeping them safe. That is my highest responsibility. And I care about our guests. And the worst thing that can happen, Lawson, because listen, we are, and by we, I mean hospitality workers, of the 25 million people unemployed in America right now, we are 66% of that. So 11 million people in the restaurant business have been laid off. No one has been more decimated than us. And no one will continue to be more decimated until we get back to normal. None of that makes making an irresponsible decision okay. And what could happen, and what I'm really worried about, is we reopen and then we get hot spots, we get spikes. Mm-hmm. That will set us back for the rest of the year. You might as well and if you want to really see an industry be gutted, let's all reopen too early and then have to shut back down. That's the absolute worst thing that can happen right now.
Well, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day and allowing us to kind of at least get caught up and get a sort of a visual or audio, of what's going on in the industry. And man, we wish you guys the best. I know you've got a lot on your plate, and we're praying for you, and cannot thank you for everything you've done for the hospitality industry. And again, all the very best. We hope to catch up with you soon, man.
All right. Thanks y'all very much.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, Steve, thanks, brother. I appreciate you, man.
You bet, bud.
Enjoy it. God bless. What a damn mess.
I know. It's like Groundhog Day. Every day I wake up and I'm like, I just want to go back to work.
Right.
But
for me in the event business, nothing canceled. It's been postponed, right. But still, it's like, rah.
I know. I really think it's about getting through this year. I think things aren't. I think it's next year before we even start to feel normal.
I think you're right too. I really do.
They're talking about it coming back in the fall.
I heard.
The hope is that there'll be, and I believe this, that there'll be a cure, a treatment, not a vaccine, but by the end of the summer, most of the smart people I know at MUSC are saying there'll be some sort of treatment that the death toll will go way down.
Oh.
That if you're healthy and you get it, you're going to be, so that's sort of, I think, that'll be the first real solid good news. We thought it was Gilead Pharmaceutical, and of course, that their test came out yesterday and said it's no good. So I don't think Trump's idea of injecting
I was going to say,
chemicals,
I don't know, baby.
We'll just pour some UV rays in there and everything will be fine. Oh God, man. Shut up, talk less.
Dude, that's all I was saying earlier on social. I'm like, dude, just shut the fuck up,
Shut the fuck up.
Right.
Anyway, well, thank you for asking.
Thanks, I appreciate you, man.
You bet. You guys take care. Nice to meet you.
And we're going to talk to you again once all this is over with, and we're all doing the hallelujah dance.
That we will all be doing the hallelujah dance. Thanks.
All right, Steve.
See you, Steve. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
All right, I'm going to mute him. He's going away. He's removed himself. There we go. He's out the meeting. We're going to unmute Miss Corbin.
I feel very informed, much more informed now that I listened to him.
He is a genius when it comes to that.
Wow.
All right. Corbin, can you hear me all right, honey?
I can.
Good. Hey, Britt.
Hi.
Okay, so, who the fuck? I hope you aren't going to ask us a story about how it came about. I don't know. I guess I don't have to, but I think it's a very valid story.
Yeah, well, we were talking about the vaguer version, as you and I have talked about the more specific version.
Oh, well, we can keep it as PG as you like. All right, so hey, Boyd, here we go. When I signed off with Steve, that's where you cut that, and then you're going to go right into the comeback song by Darius Rucker. And then we're coming out of Billy Joel's New York State of Mind. So here we go.
It's a delivery.
What's Britt's last name?
Aaronson. Sorry, I always say Fisher. It's Aaronson.
Aaronson?
Yeah, she's been married for like 7 years. People never lose their maiden names.
No.
That's all right. All right, here we go. 3, coming out, Boyd again, out of New York State of Mind, Billy Joel. 3, 2, 1. It's your brunch show, the Sunday Morning Mimosa. Lawson and Yvonne checking in with you. A great couple segments with Steve Palmer, the partner from the Indigo Road Hospitality Group. And Yvonne, like you were just saying, I feel like, me too, I feel so much more at least in the know now and inspired to at least know what the heck is going on.
Right. And I feel like he really knows what he's talking about. He's connected, not just here in Charleston, but all over the country with all these chefs and everything. And man, it's a dire situation for them. And they're in between a rock and a hard place, but at least I feel like I know a little bit more now after listening to him. That was amazing. Smart guy.
What do they say? Knowing's half the battle, G.I. Joe? Well,
at least right now, because we don't know anything about anything. I feel like I don't know what the truth is anywhere, and I don't think anybody out there knows exactly what's going on or when this is going to end or what's going to happen with anyone. We're just all kind of flying by the seat of our pants. Speaking of the seat of our pants.
Oh, that's really good. Now yay, Hercules. What a segue. We are joined from a product called No Show. by Corbin Henderson and Britt Aaronson. And we're going to get off the topic of COVID for a minute. And ladies, let's all face facts. We have nothing else going on right now. So you want to be able to get outside, get a little bit of sun, get into that bathing suit. And at this point, I hand the questioning over to Yvonne because I have no business talking about this.
Well, ladies.
Hi, girls. How are you?
Wow, how are you this morning?
Well, I am so excited about your product, No Show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it, and I'll just let you take the lead on that.
Thanks. We are too. It's been several years in the making, and it keeps your swimsuit or leggings or linen pants where they should be. And
yes,
swimsuits, it is hard enough as a woman to find a swimsuit that you like on yourself, because we're all our worst critics. And then when you start wearing it, you never know quite where it's going to move as you're getting on and off the boat or whatever you may be doing. And it is a silicone insert that goes into your swimsuit that holds the fabric where it should be, so it doesn't ride up where it shouldn't be and show what it's like.
So zero awkward lines and zero worries, and that in your swimsuit, in your activewear, and anything that's, you know, that's form fitting. And yeah, it's amazing.
It's a game changer.
It's a game changer for sure.
Lawson and I were talking about it the other day, and I said, you know, it's the no show, no camel toe, no show, right? Because it keeps everything just nice and lovely, the way it should look, right? And I also love that you have an original one and then one for swim. So are they two different products?
They are two different products. The original is a flat piece that fits well for pants, in your underwear, or you can slide it in the liner of your underwear.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
And the swimwear is a clear, and it's slightly contoured and curved, since your swimwear hugs to you a little bit more and the fabric is in that shape. So it just goes really smoothly in, so you can't see it under swimwear.
And I'm sorry, is it adheres to your body, or does it adhere to your clothing? That's my question.
It adheres to the garment, and it's medical grade silicone, reusable, waterproof, sweatproof. The adhesive is similar to the dimmers that girls use on their nipples, and you just wash it with some soap, let it dry, throw it in the bag, and reuse it again.
I think it's brilliant. I'm really excited for y'all, and I'm excited. Do you have it in on sale anywhere yet? Or
yes, it's available on our website, which is noshowbelow.com, which is NOSHO below.com. And you can click that through Instagram as well. So we're excited to get them out there, and we hope everyone loves them as much as we do.
You can get them on Amazon, right?
And they're on Amazon.
Oh, well, there you go. So people, you know, that's wonderful. Now, what is your price point? Are they, you know, different prices, different sizes, also size, because we ladies are not all built the same way, right?
We are not. So it took 4 to 5 years to get to where we are, which is the swim and the original. And we are only at 2 sizes right now, or 2 shapes. But it is I am a very tall girl, from what worked for me to what worked for my friends that were 100 pounds. So we did a lot of working on the shape to try to figure out what would work best. And it is one size fits most.
Perfect. I love that. So you've done a lot of research to make sure that it's going to kind of just fit everybody like it should.
Yes, we tried many iterations of them to figure out what everyone liked best, what everyone's problems were, what their style of clothing was, how that fit in the clothing.
So a test group, a test market.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm really excited for you guys, and I hope that this takes off. Lawson, do you have any questions about this interesting subject?
I think I'm going to say no, but I do want to repeat their website again. Would you tell us what it is again, Corbin?
It's noshowbelow.com, which is NOSHO below.com.
That's perfect. Well, girls, thank you so much for joining us. And we end where a place may be more perceived to be safer than planet Earth. That's the moon. So here's Frank Sinatra, Fly Me to the Moon. On your brunch show, it's the Sunday Morning Mimosa. Okay, girls, boy, that's where we're going to stop. Hang on, let me stop this here. Okay, boys, so here's what we're doing. We're going back to the very top of the show. So the Donna McCoy intro, you'll be doing Rolling in the Deep, then That's Life by Alan Cumming, then Coming Out of Empire State of Mind, Alicia Keys. All right, talk segment number 1. 3, 2, 1. It's your brunch show, the Sunday Morning Mimosa. Lawson and Yvonne checking in. We are so glad to be back with the podcast. I can't tell you. Hi, honey.
Hi, I'm so happy. Music, and lots of fun. What a great show today, too. I'm so excited.
We do have a great show for you today. Joining us, via their own Zoom here in our virtual studios now. Steve Palmer, he's a partner with the Indigo Road Hospitality Group. He'll be talking about what the new norm is for the hospitality industry. When is it safe to reopen? What that's going to look like. We'll also talk about a concept he's come up with called Ben's Friends. And great. Then also joining us, Corbin, Henderson, and Brittany Aaronson from No Show Below. We'll explain that in just a minute, too. And it's a great product for women, something that Yvonne will wrap her arms around and take the lead on. But wow, it's just so refreshing to just be back and having the brunch show, girl.
I know. I'm so happy, even though we're not able to go in our studio yet. But we're doing this on Zoom, and it's fun. I love seeing your happy face.
Well, it's funny. You were talking to me before we hit the air. She's like, well, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I said, don't worry. It's a podcast, honey. You're not going to be on video. You're like, oh, shit, that's great.
Oh, thank God. I didn't put on any makeup. I've got my hair up and my glasses on. Good thing y'all can see me right now.
It works really well that way. So, one of the coolest things that I see that is going on is the resurgence of drive-ins. So restaurants are opening their parking lots up, showing movies, and feeding people food.
See, I love that. That's a great idea.
Here locally in Charleston, the Terrace movie theater is doing drive-ins, and they're showing, it's family stuff. Well, maybe I wouldn't take the little kids to it, but they're showing Back to the Future. They're showing Jaws, a lot of cool things. And I just saw that today. I'm going, how damn brilliant is that? You've got to be smarter than the average bear when it comes to making money and at least trying to pay your bills during these very uncertain times.
Right. I love that. And, you can only watch so many movies on your television. I love going to the movie theater. I love seeing things on the big screen. And the idea of drive-in movies or, a drive-up movie where you can sit, watch on a big screen and eat. That's brilliant. Maybe this will bring drive-in movie theaters back. I
would not. There are going to be a lot of things that I feel like are going to come back. And people are just being smart about it. Curbside service, a lot of restaurants are having to do that, and no big deal. But it is what it is, and that's it is the new norm. It's all about the cool music right here on your brunch show. Annie Lennox, Waiting in Vain, the Sunday Morning Mimosa. All right, Boyd, here's talk segment number 2, and then you'll go right into the Steve Palmer interview, but we'll get to that in a second. Coming out of Pick Up the Pieces by the Average White Band. Haha, quarantine music. 3, 2, 1. It's your brunch show, the Sunday Morning Mimosa. It's Lawson and Yvonne. So glad to be back with you, even virtually. Let's Pick Up the Pieces, the Average White Band. All the songs you're hearing. Before that, The City of New Orleans from Arlo Guthrie and Waiting in Vain, Annie Lennox. They're all quarantine-ish songs because we thought it was kitschy on the first show during this crazy pandemic. Talking about crazy, what in the hell is wrong with people like hoarding toilet paper? Well, I just don't get it.
I don't get it either, but I'm going to tell you what, you still can't find it out there.
No, I know.
Unless you get to the grocery store 30 minutes after the truck arrives and unloads it. You're not going to get it. It's almost like you got to give the guy at the grocery store $20 to hold a a thing of toilet paper for you. I'm tempted because we're almost out around here.
I have a wholesaler that I'll share with you off the air.
Thank God.
Sure, of course. But hand sanitizer is another thing you cannot find. And our good friend Pixie Paula over at the Striped Pig in Charleston, they'll actually ship to your house too. So nationally they will ship. But they've made
I love
hand sanitizer. It's great.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I've turned a bunch of my friends onto it, and I love it. Spray. You know, the other day before I went into the grocery store, I sprayed my hands. The minute before I even came out of the grocery store, let go of the buggy, I sprayed my hands again, and I'm like, God, this is great stuff. And it doesn't dry your hands out. It's moisturizing. Good stuff. Striped Pig. Yep.
So weddings are looking a little different so far in 2020, from live streamed ceremonies to sidewalk nuptials in New York City. Couples have had to postpone, scale back or even cancel their weddings because of COVID. So this is really fun. Undoubtedly stressful and emotional time for those who are having to adjust their big days. Miller High Life wants to help. They're throwing a few of these couples an intimate ceremony and giving them $10,000.
Oh, well, that's nice. What do they have to do? Just nothing. The couples how are they choosing these people?
Well, as part of their Wedding at Your Doorstep promotion, the beer company is going to give 3 couples a chance to apparently tie the knot, sending an officiant and a photographer to facilitate and capture the ceremony while maintaining, of course, safe social distance.
Sure.
$10,000 to go towards canceled wedding costs, a honeymoon fund so you can travel once it's safe again, and, of course, beer. Now, here's how you enter. Couples can email marryme@millerhighlife.com, and that starts today with a description of 150 words or less of how their wedding plans have changed in 2020 and how they still plan to celebrate with Miller High Life. Entries are closed on May 1st, so get on it, y'all. If you're getting married, it's a perfect time to do so.
Hey, because there are a lot of people that are going to lose a lot of money.
Oh, my word. Yeah. And I tell people all the time, I'm not hiring a new girlfriend, so I don't do weddings. But there are a lot of people that are in our business, in the entertainment event business, that are in florists and everything else, that are losing just shit tons of money.
I know. It's just, I don't know. It's just an adjustment for everyone, and we're just going to have to do the best we can do, and just be as positive as we can be and kind to one another, because, this kind of thing can make either the worst or the best come out in people,
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely, and what we try for is we hope the best, but you never know.
Yeah.
So we try to Miller High Life doing something very cool. In the meantime, It's all about the cool music. Don't stand so close to me by the police. Go ahead.
Love it.
Quarantine music. When we come back, we're talking with Steve Palmer from the Indigo Road Hospitality Group. It's your brunch show, the Sunday Morning Mimosa.